Hi, everybody. Linda G here with our man about town, Sterling.
Good morning, everybody, or good evening, wherever you are. Yeah.
And we were
Hello.
just talking, we're both in California and we're lucky to have some sunshine.
Yeah, it's some of the most beautiful weather right now today. It's been crazy, right? Worldwide and nationwide, the weather patterns have been crazy. You probably saw there was a tornado in Southern California this past week
Yes, I saw two of them, right?
in Montebello. Yeah, which crazy. Now it's not the first time in California they've had tornadoes, but it's been a lot of years, so decades or something.
I
Yeah.
know there was a tornado, not huge, EF1
Mhm.
or two, up
Right.
here where I live. Years ago, I remember thinking, whoa.
Yep.
But God bless those people in Mississippi, huh? That was a 90-mile long tornado, EF4.
Yeah, well, terrible disaster. And was it 25 people lost their lives? I forget what
25
the
or
count was or
26
something.
right now.
Yeah.
They said they didn't even have hardly a chance to, get down in the basement or whatever. So
Yeah. Weather patterns are changing for all of us.
they are. And I'm not, I know this was as prophesized. So this is something that
Mhm.
was supposed to happen. So,
Exactly.
okay. So thank you to Daniel and to Linda
Hmm.
for getting up the questions for us. I get them nice and typed out.
Oh, nice.
But they don't serve me coffee and bagels when they give them to me.
I'll tell her about that. Yeah.
Okay, so question number one. Powell has raised the interest rate 9 consecutive times already. It seems he is only doing this to benefit the big banks and not America. Do you see Joe Biden or anyone else stepping in to stop this madness?
Well, maybe a little bit different take on that question. The Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, that the only tool he has is to kind of raise interest rates to slow down inflation. That's the only tool they have. It's a little sloppy, but I don't get it. He's doing it to help the wealthy. He's actually doing it to help America, believe it or not, to help, calm down inflation. So, there's no perfect tool, but I don't get he's doing it for the wealthy. I think if that was the question.
Yeah, well, if he was doing it for the wealthy, places like Silicon Valley Bank, etc., wouldn't have. What they did is they were living off the fat of the land and they were expecting that low interest rate.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden it went up.
They're highly leveraged on a long-term paper, Silicon Valley Bank. And when the interest rates run up, the value of the long-term paper or treasury notes and whatnot goes down. So yeah, I mean, a lot of things going on with Silicon Valley Bank and the other banks. But anyway, to that question, I think Biden is supporting some of these efforts to try to slow down inflation there.
Okay. Okay. Will Michael Flynn or Roger Stone ever face justice for treason?
I don't see it, but I do see like a lesser charge, which is like a seditious conspiracy. That's a lesser charge than treason. I think treason is a harder charge to prove.
Yes.
But it does look like sedition or seditious conspiracy within a year. It looks like they're going to be facing that.
But I almost feel it's when the whole Trump thing starts
Oh,
gathering.
it's all related. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're part of the Jack Smith thing.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Mitch McConnell is at it again, threatening to not allow any of President Biden's Supreme Court nominations to go through. Will he be successful as usual, or will McConnell's behavior finally be stopped by some savvy Democrats?
I've always seen something like two Supreme Court justices leaving and then being reappointed, even within this year, 2023. I saw that last year for this year. So if that holds true, it looks like McConnell doesn't successfully stop it.
Okay.
So yeah.
What's the real relationship between, is it called Yi and Putin? Z and
President Jinping.
Xi
Xi
and Putin.
Jinping. Yeah. Well, I've always got that Xi has really got Putin kind of under his finger. So he kind of finds him to be rather troublesome, and he doesn't want nuclear conflict in his backyard. So
Exactly.
what I see is he always kind of has him on a short leash to try to keep him under control. It's kind of like you have like a crazy kid. So I don't see a lot of respect there, and I also don't see him giving Putin like a blank checkbook. Like
Yeah,
here's
I
all the
don't
weapons
either.
you
I
need.
saw a little money coming, but not a lot.
Yeah, what I really feel behind the scenes is he's saying to Putin, "Get this thing taken care of quickly. Get it out of my backyard." Yeah.
Okay. Hi, Sterling. Will Fox lose advertisers because of their Dominion lawsuit?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they've already lost something like 8% or 9% of the advertisers. And so that's a downward spiral, especially once the Dominion lawsuit gets settled. Well, it's going to court, but
Yeah.
once, once the fees are paid by Fox News. Yeah.
It's gonna be tough.
Hmm.
I've noticed the subway trains in New York City are not as crowded as in pre-pandemic rush hours. How will this affect public transport in the future?
It's going to reach a new equilibrium, which means that there'll be fewer travelers, fewer trains on the track, but I see more federal and state funding. So it's gonna reach what I call a new equilibrium.
Okay.
More funding, but less trains, less demand. So it's going to strike a new balance.
Okay. I've noticed this. Okay. Hi, Linda and Sterling from Florida. I have a question. With the seaweed blob twice the width of USA inching towards Florida, will our governor do anything about this issue?
Yeah, not only Florida, so the state, but also I see the federal government jumping in there. But it looks like it's going to be a lot of what I call a lot of manpower, meaning, 1,000 dump trucks a day trying to haul away some of the garbage. So they're gonna have to manually remove a lot of it, as well as use some sort of biological solution. So it's going to take them months and months and months, like 1,000 or over more dump trucks a day to help cart it out of there. They're going to do it. Not the first time in history it's happened. Yeah.
Right, and I heard it stinks too.
Twice the width of the US, so something like 5,000 miles wide. Yeah. But you have to understand, if you look at history, my team's reminding you of this, it's happened in many other areas, not just the Gulf areas, but other areas of the Caribbean and whatnot. So it's happened around the world before.
Okay.
Maybe not that size, but
Right. The US owes China trillions of dollars. Will they be calling in the loans?
anytime soon. No. But it's interesting what I pick up on that. The reason for that is that some of the economists in China are a little smarter than they look, because right now China is experiencing like low cost manufacturing services. If they had called in all the US debt, it actually tanked the US dollar, and actually then more services or manufacturing would come to the US. It's a weird sort of a scenario, but China's they're a little smarter than that, and they've looked down the road. They said, "Let we call it all in. It's actually going to backfire." So yeah, it's not going to happen the way people are concerned about. Yeah.
Okay, good. The Louisiana representative just switched parties to give Republicans a supermajority in state legislature to override any vetoes from the current Democratic governor. Democrats have disappeared from voter rolls by the thousands, and gerrymandering and corruption run rampant. Would Louisiana move to be more progressive within the next 10 years?
It's a really multi-layered question in there. Is that Representative Thompson? Is that his name? The one that shifted over? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I get, so let me unpack that question a little bit. I think whoever the representative was already voting conservatively even before he jumped across. So I don't see a big change kind of that. It looks like when it's necessary, he'll still vote more Democratic, even though he jumped parties.
Okay.
And then the last part of the question was, will that area become more Democratic 10 years
Within the
out?
next 10 years.
It will, almost as fast as 5 or 6 years, looks like.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hi, Sterling. I've been feeling a strong connection with Melania Trump and the Kremlin. Is she a Russian asset? Keeping tabs on Donald and reporting back.
100%.
Whoa, I know she came in from Jeffrey Epstein.
100%. It's all part of the mechanism that's put in place for the construct back to the motherland. Mm-hmm.
Whoa. Will Congress ever be forced to have the same medical coverage as their constituents?
Yeah, I see it actually being proposed in like 2026. So whether that actually takes shape in 2026, but looks like it actually will shift, and then they'll be under the same coverage. Yeah.
Will the Republican Party splinter into two different political parties, or will they purge the Trump wing and return to a more normal political party once again?
I don't see him splitting, but I do see him morphing over time. So the more conservative, rational side of the GOP starts to get bigger, and they kind of offload some of the radical elements. So it's going to take a few years for that to happen. But yeah, I don't see him splitting. No.
Okay. Here's that question. They did put it on here. Can a soul decide to become a spirit guide for someone else rather than choose another human lifetime?
Yeah, and you and I were just talking about that offline before we got on here. So whoever asked that question, whenever I ask my team about that, to become a guide on the other side is like hundreds of reincarnations. I mean, you actually have a dedicated purpose. So it almost never is, let's say, a direct family member in your extended spiritual group that becomes a guide for you.
Right.
But if it's part of your evolutionary track to become a guide, almost like any other professional in life, you actually will become a guide, but it never happens from like your direct family crossover. I don't want to reincarnate. I want to be a guide. No, it's a whole different path. Yeah.
Like I told you, some people will say, that's it. I'm not coming back another lifetime. Like, okay. Actually, when you're over there, it'll be a horse of a different color.
It always is. Yeah.
Do people with cognitive limitations immediately regain their God-given knowledge and intelligence when they cross? Or is there an adjustment period?
No, it's more immediate than anything else. I mean, we all go through a life review, but part of the life review is you get, all your cognitive abilities are back. So like this lifetime's like being in a play, a Broadway play. When the play's done, when your life's over per se, you take the clothes off, the acting clothes, you walk out in Times Square, and you're back into the other world. So yeah, you get all your cognitive abilities back. You can walk again. Your health comes back. A lot of people shave 20 or 30 years off of themselves to look the way they want. So yeah.
When I read people and I saw maybe the brother that was cognitively challenged and had been dead for a while, he's totally 100% right. He served his purpose in that lifetime.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Amy Sue Pagnak went missing from a gas station in Minnesota. Her father went to use the bathroom, and when he returned to his car, she was gone. It has been 30 years, still no clue. What happened to her?
30 years ago, Amy Sue Pagnak. Okay.
Pagnak.
Well, I guess she ran away, but then in the course of like running away, was this a gas station? They said it was at a gas station. It looks like running away from a gas station, getting abducted by a younger male, and unfortunately, it did not end well. Now, I think the reason the person's asking this question is it looks like for me, authorities will be able to solve this. And so, if this was 30 years ago, we're talking about 1993 approximately.
Yeah.
For some reason, I feel that there's photography or photographic elements, whether it's closed circuit television, somebody has some images of like the vehicle, and it looks like an SUV to me, like whoever picked her up. Yeah, so it's it's not always easy to see these things, but that's what they're showing me right now.
I wonder how old she was.
Was she a teenager? I'm picking up. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll look it up later.
Yeah.
She doesn't feel very old.
Right.
I can even look real quick just to satisfy our not Amy Winehouse.
Amy Sue Pagnak? Yeah.
Pagnak.
Yeah. For some reason, I'm picking up an age range of something between like, I don't know, 16 and 21 or something. So younger.
It looks like she's about 16. So she was born in 1976.
Okay.
So this happened in, when did it happen? 9 years ago or so.
I think you're like 16, I think, if I just did the math right.
She felt like a teenager, but she feels small in her build.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Poor baby. Okay, what can we do to help miracles become effortless all day, every day, and a natural occurrence in our lives? Being alive is a miracle.
Yeah. For me, there's two tracks for the answer on that. One is my team always says that people don't acknowledge the small miracles that happen around us all the time. So so it's a recognition of those smaller miracles. The larger miracles are what I call more of a heavy lift, a collective lift. So there's a lot of people are praying for a certain type of miracle.
Yeah.
So there are different reasons why miracles take place and occur in certain ways. But for me, they kind of split into two different major areas.
Right.
So the larger miracles are more of a collective consciousness effort. It's a heavier lift, but they do happen. But start acknowledging all the small ones, and it makes it easier to see the big ones.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Can a soul have more than one romantic soulmate at a time in their current incarnation?
Certainly. We all have many soulmates as we go through life, and some can be, at the same time, simultaneous. That's true. Yeah.
And also, it doesn't have to be romantic. It'd be soulmates that are the same sex or from the same family.
Yeah, I always see soulmates by definition for me and my team. They teach you an important lesson of the heart. So there's something you're supposed to learn regarding your heart, the emotion. And even that those can sometimes be best friends, can be a kind of a soulmate. You know what? Yeah. So it's really, you can have them at any time during life and simultaneously, but you put them on your life path.
Right, right. Okay. Do you see the US splitting into separate categories / areas / divorce?
No, I see a lot of noise in that area, a lot of, secede from the union and all that. I see a lot of racket and noise, but it won't happen. No.
No, I don't. They can't afford it.
Yeah.
Will the US dollar weaken and lose value in the future due to other forms of currency?
Well, it will. The US dollar, if they're asking the question, is going to be under a lot of pressure for many years, but looks like it has a real resurgence within like 5-6 years. So there, it's going on with the global economy. Yeah, it's gonna get hammered like a lot of currency around the world. But for me, they're saying there'll be a real resurgence, US dollar 5 to 6 years here. So
Right, and the US dollar is doing really good considering.
Mhm.
Do you see Lake Travis in Texas drying up totally in the future, or will the new processes for conservation be put into place to conserve the lake?
I'm not getting it's going to dry up totally. No. So I think that's one of the first questions we're asking. But I do get it's going to be under very severe, drought restrictions. For me, when this first started to happen, my team was saying it's a good 5-year run for the major Western drought. I know they're asking about Texas right now, but I think we still have at least another 4 years before things start to normalize a little bit better. So
Okay, what about Colorado? The Colorado River is pretty bad.
that's what I'm talking about as well.
Okay.
Yeah, Colorado River is under severe pressure at least for
And
another.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A lot of Fox News followers are leaving and tuning in to other conservative networks. Will those networks give a more truthful view of the news?
They will. And it's thanks to the Dominion lawsuit. So once the Dominion lawsuit is taken care of with Fox, and my guys have said it's going to be roughly about a $2 billion bill out the door that Fox News will have. That'll lay a big stake in the ground for a lot of news networks all over.
And the lesson learned not to be lying as bad as Fox did. Is Tucker Carlson going to get hit in all this?
He will, but for some reason there's a lag effect. So whether that's 6-12 months, it's like something happens corporate wise, then there's a lag effect where he has an erosion then of his audience, and so then that's what catches up with him. Yeah.
Can our loved ones that have passed interfere with our life path?
No, not really. It seems like somebody might be asking that. Maybe they had trouble with a loved one and they think they're going to try to sabotage them from the other side. If I'm reading between the lines on that question, no.
Okay.
We create our own reality, and loved ones on the other side, even if they were troublesome for you, have really changed when they cross over.
Oh, I know. Sometimes people are shocked by the loving words their mother, who never gave them the time of day, says.
Exactly. Happens all the time. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask a quick question.
Mhm.
Netanyahu, did your guides talk anything about him? What's coming up?
I mean, he's embattled. I think, are you asking he's going to be removed from power? Is that what you're asking?
Well, will he be able to stop the justice from, he's trying to get them to stop so he can't be charged with the crimes he's already done. I guess he's under charge and he's trying to say, no, you can't do that. It'd be something like Trump would do. And I'm going to get my own people in here. And even the army said, no, you won't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to put this in context, I think people were hoping he'd get removed. First of all, it looked to me like he's going to be in there at least another 12 to 18 months, 2 years. So not being removed, but it looks like he'll certainly drag all that out for that time period. So they won't be able to put any teeth into the charges.
Okay.
He'll drag it out and, bump and grind and a lot of things that 45 does. Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, I've been getting some strong hits on Jack Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Is he really getting down in the dirt there? Got his sleeves up, ready to, we don't know time frames because that's very hard to pick, but I really feel strongly, and I think Bragg will hit Trump. I don't care what Trump says. He's going to do something with him. And then I see it may be Jack Smith before Fannie. I don't know.
Well, all three cases are going to move along, right? New York, Georgia, and the federal case of Jack Smith. They're all going to move ahead.
Okay.
I do see them synchronizing behind the scenes, just saying,
That's what I was wondering. Because I can see Jack Smith talking to Bragg. I can see him on the phone.
Yeah, well, I see their offices. I think they're being very, very careful at how they communicate. They just want to make sure that there's a timing issue. For me, under the guises of security, what's the best way to handle security in the nation when these charges roll out because of all the crazies?
Right.
I do see that. And you're asking about Jack Smith. I feel that his is going to be the most detrimental case to 45.
That's the one that's going to.
That'll be the one like the iceberg for the Titanic. We just hit the iceberg. There's no going back.
No,
So
that's really destroy. And he knows it too. Trump knows it. That's why he's so cray.
Exactly.
So, that's, I definitely picked that up, but I feel, we don't have much longer for all this. It almost feels like it fizzles away.
Yeah.
So, and I don't see people coming out in droves and challenging all this. I almost feel, because as it is, it's hardly a nothing burger when he told everybody to fight for your country. And that event he had at Waco was a few thousand, but it wasn't huge. And a lot of those people he pays. So.
Yeah, a lot of them have smartened up, if that's possible, because now they realize it's like, kind of use the analogy, shooting fish in a barrel. When they show up to these rallies, they saw how the federal government came after the January 6th, rioters. And so we're not going to walk into that. So they realize that, cameras catch everything. The federal government catches up with them. So they got a little wiser. They also realize 45 didn't come to their rescue. So, a lot of them that did not go unnoticed. Yeah.
Yeah, because he said he was going to pardon all of them while he was still president, and he didn't.
He just forgot. Yeah.
And then, everybody's saying, well, how do we know this isn't a setup?
Right.
They're going to have our photos. FBI is going to post it and we'll all go down. No, we're not.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay. And I don't see, I'm sorry. I do not see DeSatan coming anywhere near the presidency. I just don't see it.
No, I don't see it. I think for me, once he hits the national stage, he's going to self-implode. He's in the small time hood, so to speak. And I think he has a lot of people, yes people around him. Once he gets on the national stage, he's going to get crushed.
Yeah, because, you don't tell people woke and you don't tell people they can't talk about this or that. People don't want to live like that.
Yeah, it's he's got some crazy ideas. Yeah. And
the other one I see going down is Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about earlier, how the party is going to kind of morph into a more moderate GOP, but it's going to offshoot, a lot of the radical elements, and she's one of them. Yeah,
they keep putting her out there on the podium, making these talks and talking about how awful Democrats are, and it's just like we can't work together. A house divided will fall, so we've got to come together.
Yeah.
Okay, what is coming up for next week?
Well, we touched on some of this during this show, but a lot of things happening still around the 45 indictments. I think you're going to start to see really close now some of the positioning on the three cases. And you can kind of read the tea leaves by the number of individuals being called in to testify. With Cochrane, the people being called in 45's inner circle. So we're making a lot of good progress on that.
I think there might be a subpoena coming, maybe from Bragg this coming week.
My jury's out for me. Yeah, for me, the jury's out because I feel like there would have been, but they stopped short because they felt like they needed to double down on some more evidence because things were getting a little radical.
Okay.
And so I think they're being very careful. Looks to me like might be next week. Hard to say, but this week feels
just, it's the collective consciousness of the American people. Most people want to see justice, by God, and just getting indicted will help a lot of people. Because as it was, he announced Tuesday. I wouldn't doubt if they went out of their way to say, sucker, no, it's not going to be Tuesday.
Right, exactly. Yeah, crazy.
So you said that you see more things coming to fruition about these cases against Trump. I
do. And also new information being released to the public, looks like, for the Dominion lawsuit again, some other big.
Oh yeah, I think something's coming up.
A big document coming out regarding that. It's going to be like another aha moment. Like, didn't know that. Also a lot of drone activity happening around Ukraine and Syria. There's still going to be a lot of messy drone activity. Even our drones being affected or shot down, and a lot of saber rattling going on around that Russia. So look for that this week. Yeah. Okay.
Weather-wise, do we look comfortable, or do we need to worry?
The nation?
Our nation, the United States.
Yeah, I mean, the nationwide, it looks like some troublesome storms in the east for me coming towards the latter part.
I've been feeling East Coast bad.
Latter part of the week, it looks like something ramping up. It's just everybody's got to kind of prepare. That's the key word. Water, food supplies. Yeah.
Okay. And do your guides have anything to say?
They do, like they said in the past, but make sure you share your gifts with the loved ones around you and to the world, because the world will listen and the world could really use it. So don't hide your spirituality and love and purpose under a lampshade, so to speak. Share it with the world.
There's a lot of people that write me, and I'm sure that write you and tell you, I have these gifts, and we always encourage them, use it. But are you hearing like me? Thank you. It calms me down that you have such a, we all have these, we all know at the end of the day, it's going to be okay.
It will. This is just a fight for what's right. It was really about. So this is the wrong time to sit back and say, I hope. Now you got to get out there and be active.
Right. So how do people get a hold of you?
Very easy. We have a YouTube channel, Sterling Psychic Medium here on YouTube. And then also our website is sterlingpsychicmedium.com. And you look for a book a session tab. It's very easy to schedule from there. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. Always a pleasure. Wonderful.
It's just wonderful. And we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
All the best. When is Easter? Let me look real quick. We might not see each other in a couple of weeks. Okay, so we're not meeting Sunday the 2nd. That's Palm Sunday. The day we would meet is Easter. Do you still want to read Easter, or you guys have?
I'm open, or we could kick it to the next one. I'm open.
I'm open on Easter too, because no, I can't. Sorry. Wait.
No problem.
No, I'm doing an Easter brunch. So kick it to the next week after that.
We'll go to another 2 weeks out. Then we'll just keep it on the schedule. So
okay. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you. A pleasure. All the best,
guys. It was good seeing y'all, or hearing y'all, or talking to y'all. Cheers.